Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports Week 1 for collegiate football out of the way. Week 1 for high school football and professional football. That'll be this week, and our Saints are going to be in action in the Dome on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. Noon start time, and you can catch your game on CBS if you can't be in that number at the Dome, or, as a lot of people do, they tune into the voice of the Saints there with Mike Hoss and Deuce McAllister. That'll be on WWL 870 a.m., a game that the Saints have a chance of winning. But if they don't win it, maybe a very long season going forward, as the Arizona Cardinals have not been a very good team in the NFL for the last umpteen years. So that being said, the Saints hope that they could get out of the gate with a good win. Kellen Moore talks a little bit about this week. What are they going to do to prepare for the Cardinals and some cuts they made? Interestingly enough, got rid of a young man who has done a number for the Saints, J.T. Gray. We'll see how it all pans out. But here's Kellen Moore talking about the Saints leading into that opener.
Good weekend for our players, the chance for them to kind of get away. Obviously, a number of them saw their college teams, which is always the fun part of this weekend. Some wins, some losses in there, but a lot of good stuff for everyone. And so roster-wise, we had some challenging things to navigate the last 24 hours. We released J.T. Gray, which was, one of the hardest things so far in this year. And so that was a really challenging move. He's a really good special teams player. He's a really good player. He's done a lot of good things here. And it was a really, really challenging decision that we had to make. And then we did sign Kozai Izzard to practice squad. He came from Kansas City. He's defensive tackle. He did training camp with them. He did some awesome stuff in preseason. We evaluated him. And so, just as we continue to navigate some of the roster moves, there's obviously challenging things that come up. And so, we're excited for this week, though. We're excited to get into this thing. The guys were in today. We were able to get some really good field work in. They went weight room, went into some field work where it's really almost like a phase 2 day, like in the off-season programs. We were able to get a bunch of field work done, throwing individual drills, get into a little bit of a walkthrough, and put them in position to be ready to roll on Wednesday. A lot of this comes down to the roster flexibility, and that's the challenging part of it. We know the high-quality player that he is, the impact he's had on this organization. He's a really good player. Just with the roster as you kind of play the roster management part of this thing over the course of, this season and throughout the next few weeks, there's a lot of challenges associated with that. And so it was a really tough one for us to do. We're kind of in the moving a few pieces around, and so obviously we'll probably make some corresponding moves. And, I think a part of this is just there's a lot of moves that you kind of have to navigate the first few weeks of the season. And we have some, guys on PUP and some guys on IR that certainly we anticipate eventually, being a part of this thing. And so you got to have the roster flexibility just to navigate all these moving pieces. There's a few guys who obviously have done some reps in preseason and then throughout training camp as well. There's a number of guys who've done it as well. And so, it's a big-time opportunity. I mean, we need guys to step up in those roles. That's going to be a huge critical aspect of it for teams, from a special teams perspective for us. And so, we got some big-time opportunities for those guys. This is one of the more creative defenses in our league, just as far as the multiplicity. And, more importantly, this is week 1. Every week 1, there's going to be an element of unscouted looks and unknown. Everyone's had an entire offseason to put together a new plan. There's going to be some things that are unique that we have not seen, and that's part of week 1 in general. Then you cap on to it that we're playing these guys. It'll stress us out, a healthy dose. Early in the week, once you get into the flow of this thing, we'll have our conversations early in the week, just debriefing the previous game, kind of eyes forward to the next one. We'll build the plans out, and I think as the quarterbacks see the plans, you have more and more healthy discussions of things they like, things they want to have more discussion on, and ultimately towards the end of the week, we get into a really narrowed focus as far as what we're going to do on Sunday. You're watching film of last year, obviously. You have a little bit of exposure in preseason, but it's very minimal. There's a healthy dose of element of unknown week 1. And obviously I think on our side we have a little bit element of unknown. And so that's what week 1s are. It's really the first 3 weeks of the season. Everyone's got a lot of unknown factors. And so it's kind of, you got to play really clean football the first few weeks of the season. You got to really focus on the fundamentals, trust your rules. There's going to be, unfortunately some mistakes, and you got to play really clean football and give yourself a chance. I think we're all excited. We're all excited that this is ultimately what you do this whole offseason program to build up to the opportunity to play in regular season games. These are the ones you want. I thought our guys have done a really good job. I think our guys are in a really good space, mentally, physically. They're ready to roll. And so, part of the challenge of week one is it's still a full week of preparation. We got a lot of stuff we're going to be covering over the next, however many 5-6 days, and so leading up to this Sunday. And so you can't get to Sunday too fast. You got to go through this process, and we'll get there, and we'll be excited for it when Sunday rolls around and we're at the Dome.
I think he's going to be a good coach. Unfortunately, I'm not sure he has the roster to sort of back that up at this point, but I do think that the future is bright from a coaching perspective for the New Orleans Saints. And let's hope that they get some things together and Spencer Rattler goes out there and plays extremely well this upcoming Sunday. Again, it'll be the Arizona Cardinals coming into town, noon start time, and if you can't be there, you can catch it on CBS. I also want to remind everybody that next week we start Sports on the Bayou. That's right, next Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m., you could tune in and get sort of an expert's viewpoint of this. Mike D, the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Morty going to be here to lend some expertise on how the Saints played against the Cardinals. Of course, Martin and Harry going to be here, and also going to do a little piece on high school sports that I do each week. So tune into that again next Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Got to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.